It's tough out here right now, and a lot of people are broke.
This one here is £100,000.
Or so I thought.
My favourite brand at the moment is
Gucci, Prada.
Michael Kors, Marc Jacobs.
Cole Boxer maybe.
Looking sharp is one thing, but the money being dropped on drip seems to be out of control.
Most expensive item has got to be the Canada Goose, 480.
£600. It was a pair of glasses, which is fair enough, I think.
The bag is Balenciaga. I'll go for 1.2. I hope my mom doesn't see this.
The word drippy comes from the idea of designer stuff, expensive stuff. It looks like you're dripping with money kind of vibe.
Whether it's jewellery, clothes, or bougie holidays and fast cars,
this generation is a lot more into drip and luxury than any other generation.
I'm on a mission to find out what happens when drip gets extreme.
These about like 1.5.
Glasses were about 400.
What are the consequences when you don't have the cash to keep up the lifestyle? And how much debt are we prepared to get into to stay drippy?
My moral is if I see something that I like, I'm just going to buy it.
Credit card is actually very dangerous. Don't get one.
Debt is so much more accessible, and sometimes the financial products people are using to buy these things, they don't even realise that they're debt.
Are we doing it for the clout, the status, or the culture?
Buying luxury items and you don't have a pot to piss in is stupid, 100%. I agree with that.
I've got exclusive figures that reveal almost half of 16 to 34-year-olds are in debt due to purchasing luxury items. And I'll ask if our love of drip has become an addiction. I'm David Whiteley, also known as Sideman. I'm a presenter, broadcaster and entertainer. But when it comes to drip, I get caught slipping.
Look at what you are wearing. Look at what you wear on a day-to-day basis.
You know what it is? It's the socks, you know.
You could have at least run an iron over that. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
How are you, Dave? You being a good boy? So,
Yes.
Channel 4 want me to do a documentary on drip.
You don't get it.
I care about drip.
Evidently not. Look what you're wearing. What's the most you ever spent on clothes?
I don't think I've ever spent more than £200 on an
That is
item.
what I'm saying. Absolutely.
You don't think £200 is a lot to spend on clothes?
No, not to be classed as drippy. I'm seeing like 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds with Canada Goose. Do you know how much Canada Goose is? That's an £800 jacket.
Tell the truth, Zizi. Have you ever used a credit card, gone out of your way, gone past the budget to buy something?
When I was younger and like when I didn't have loads of money coming in, yeah, I would maybe put myself in it. But that was genuinely just to like, but so that was poor money management as well.
What is the most you've ever spent on an item of clothing?
I've got like a bag that is probably my most expensive item.
You didn't answer the question I asked you. How much is the bag? How much is the bag?
It was like 4.
4?
Yeah.
Why? My voice echoed saying 4 just there. Why?
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay 4,000 for that, right? Like I would.
I wish you didn't.
Plus, I would have to tell people.
But also, you didn't need to say the 4,000 because
You
my
just
mum
said-
might watch this and she might think 400.
Our figures show that 69% of 16 to 34-year-olds would get into debt to buy a luxury item. I've come shopping with Samantha, a self-confessed dripaholic.
What's the most expensive thing you've ever bought?
Probably my Chanel bag.
How much was it?
5.5 grand.
No.
I know, I feel really sick saying that.
5.5?
Yeah. My mum was a shopaholic.
Really?
And obviously the gene passed down.
Oh my gosh.
Shall we go have a look at some jewellery?
My mother got ill, so she started to spoil my sibling and I. So that's when it was like, we're gonna fly to the Maldives business class and we're gonna stay there for 3 weeks. And I'm gonna be taken out of school for a week so we can sit on the beach.
In a few short years, Samantha lost her mum, grandma, and great aunt. She received a large amount of inheritance, but not long later, it was all gone.
I was close with them and they were all I had left on that side of the family. And they passed away and I got a little bit of inheritance.
And what do you call a little bit of inheritance?
Do I have to say the figure? Can I say like
You don't have to.
more than 50 grand and less than 100 grand?
Oh, wow.
I definitely bought some shoes, bought some bags, like Gucci belts, some random bits. A couple £100 at a time when you have such an obscene amount in the bank, like you don't really notice it.
You spent all of it?
Yeah.
What's the time frame in which you spent all of the money?
A year and a half.
A year and a half?
I can't pay for a train ticket. I was like, I have like
Oh, wow.
15, 20 grand worth of stuff in my flat, like bags and shoes, and I can't get the train. Like, come on, like, get yourself together.
Do you feel like at that time you kind of lost control?
Yeah. I think I was also just so mentally distraught and depressed and anxious that like I just didn't care. So I was like, whatever. Like future me will figure it out. But like right now, like if buying this one thing is gonna like give me some kind of joy in a really sad time, like I'm just gonna do it.
Describe to me how it felt when you had spent it all.
I was so disappointed because I knew that my grandmother and my great aunt would be so disappointed in me. So I was really upset with myself. I was very close with my mother's side of the family. And then literally like it's like a domino effect, like gone. I think I was probably trying to fill some kind of void.
Did you feel like spending that money filled that void?
Maybe for a short period of time, but like no. It was when I kind of realized the money was running out. I was like, I'm wasting my life, wasting my money, but I'm wasting like my life away.
I think it's easier to spend money that you haven't earned. If someone gives me £20,000, I don't think I'm going to treat it the same as if I have earned that money. First thing you should do is seek out a financial advisor about what you want to do with the money, because the key, in my opinion, is to invest some of that money. I would put a little bit of money aside to spend on drip myself. I am not going to lie. I would maybe have like maybe 10 to 15% that I'm just like, do you know what? Que sera, sera. I'm going to Selfridges.
This is my version of a walk-in wardrobe. The majority of the clothes in here is black. I actually wore this to an award show once. People were wearing their fancy, dress, fancy suit and everything like that. I got this from like a costume store. I was literally the star of the show. Almost everything you've seen in here is stuff I've been gifted. I'd say 98% of it is not clothes that I bought myself.
Fashion is a big flex in the drip world. 62% of 16 to 34-year-olds told us they've spent money on designer clothes in the last 6 months, and 58% said they've bought expensive trainers.
I don't engage because I don't have any point of reference for it. I don't have a point of reference with a Gucci. I don't have a point of reference with a Versace. I grew up in Jamaica, and even when we moved here, I was very conscious as a child of the toughness of bills. When you're being sent all the time to the shop to get electric for the meter and stuff like that, and it runs out again and you have to go in. I think that entire process just made me think, oh, I'd like to live comfortably where I don't have to worry about that. Because when I was in school, because I didn't have clothing, I wore my personality. That's how I couldn't get the clothes, so I had to find a way to fit in or even to stand out. And I used gift of the gab for that. I used entertaining my friends for that. I put more value on that than I do clothing, and so I'm just not used to spending that kind of money on clothing. It's unfathomable to me.
Am I the only one who thinks all this debt ain't worth it? Especially when we're spending money we don't have. We found that more than 1 in 5 16 to 34-year-olds are taking out credit monthly to buy drip. 1 in 10 use it weekly or more often. We commissioned some exclusive research from financial coaching experts, Claro.
We surveyed 2,016 to 34-year-olds across the UK. And we found a big appetite for spending on drip and luxury items. One of the most shocking ones is that 30% of people surveyed have missed a credit card repayment or a buy now, pay later payment. And we also found that despite the context of the cost of living crisis, almost half of young people are in debt.
And it's luxury items, it's stuff they don't have to buy.
And alongside that, almost a third have less than £100 in savings, and 1 in 7 have no savings at all. No savings at all.
What makes us feel comfortable in that kind of economic environment?
Well, I don't think we do feel comfortable, because we also found that 58% of people feel stressed or anxious about their financial situation. So there's some sort of awareness there that it isn't right, but it's almost too easy to continue to do. What we're facing now is this perfect storm of social media, really clever advertising tech, financial innovations, particularly around borrowing money, that just makes it so easy, like a 2-click frictionless process for us to overindulge, overconsume, and adopt poor financial behaviours without us really even noticing.
I've always found it so confusing
why schools don't teach more financial literacy. I'm telling you, when I was in school, I never heard the word pension once. I never heard the word tax once. I never heard the word council tax once. Never heard the word mortgage one time.
Being in debt feels like a norm for many. And of those surveyed who are in debt, almost a quarter said that they don't seek help with repayments or a plan to get out of debt.
Over half of 19 to 23-year-olds still live at home. One of them is TikTok content creator Drew. Drew was studying medicine at Newcastle University.
Yo guys, it's your boy Dre. I'm at it with AJ.
But he then made the dramatic decision to quit uni to become an influencer and launch his own clothing brand. I caught up with him filming content outside the concert.
What you guys wearing today?
It's about like 1.5.
Jacket was about 200.
Two bills, yeah, nah, I hear you, gang.
I have a question. So you don't think 3 bills on one outfit is mad?
On a fit, it's not too bad, innit?
So the trousers, 600, but it's just black.
We waste so much money on clothes, and it's just like, this is not a waste, in my opinion.
How much would you say the entire outfit costs?
Like 3.5k.
How much do you think that is like in comparison to rent?
I dropped out of uni, so I don't pay rent no more.
How much of rent do you think 3 bills is?
I don't go think about that. What the heck? I don't go think about that.
Back in the day, the standard thing was you move out at 18. You don't know that?
I can't lie, it's a cost of living crisis.
Obviously, we're at an artist event tonight. How important do you think it is for people to be seen?
So I feel like it is quite important for me to be seen. Just wearing my own brand right now, do you get? I'm a main character head to toe, like, every time I go somewhere, that's all you're really ever gonna see me wearing.
What's the social media aspect that comes into play? Like, is there like I've got to post what's gone on, I've got to post my fit from tonight, not just for you, but for others as well?
I can't lie, me personally, I'm probably not gonna take any pictures today. I know it's gonna sound crazy, but I don't like posting on social media that much. Like, I know a lot of people...
Is it because it's become work for you?
Yeah, because I get paid from it. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that I was able to monetize it, I would not be posting my fits. I would go to this concert and nobody would know
that you went. Yeah.
Drew's managed to make bank, working with brands and creating a profitable clothing label. But making it big on social media can mean big pressure too. 21-year-old Michelle is an aspiring fashion influencer. She has built a 20k following on socials, posting photos dripping in luxury. But to fund her drippy image, she had to work 2 jobs whilst doing her A-levels and supporting her single mom and little sister. Michelle, we are outside your college. Where did that first interest in fashion and in clothing begin for you?
A lot of my life I felt very unseen.
Okay.
And especially because, shockingly, I'm very much an introvert, I'm very quiet.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that was my way of being loud. It started to get a bit toxic for me because I started to realize I was overworking myself. I was working so much whilst I was in college. My Instagram picked up a lot. I reached 20k. Management reached out to me saying, oh, we want to add you to our client list and get you brand deals or whatever. This brand wants to work with you. Deadline's next week. Can you post in 10 days? Can you post in 5 days? You need to keep going. You need to keep going. And it was a lot of pressure to upkeep the lifestyle. There's people are looking at you online, people are looking at you in school, and then they don't understand there's so much going on behind closed doors. They don't know that my mom's struggling with raw battles.
The pressure of being an influencer and coping with the chaos in her real life contributed to a mental health breakdown. Michelle ended up in hospital for 3 months.
When people were visiting me, they weren't even allowed to hug me because obviously it was COVID. So I'm just seeing my mum once a week over a table. And I know, I could see in my mum's face, this was so hard for her. And it did hurt me a lot. It really hurt me a lot. Especially because my mum's my only parent and I love her so much. But yeah, it was so hard on her, really hard.
But even while in hospital, Michelle couldn't stop buying drip.
When I came out of hospital, my mum's like, Michelle, you have so many packages at home. I went out, I went all out. One of the purchases was 2K.
Wow.
2K. From that moment, when that happened, that was the day I was like, I am never, ever going to pressure myself to buy things that I do not need.
I think people need to get rid of like the shame factor when it comes to talking about money. Forget what it looks like and do things for what it is. If you need to maybe move home to save money, or you need to cut back, or you need to get a second job, that is fine, but don't deny yourself what you need to stop yourself from feeling the stress and anxiety that so many people are going through.
It feels like we're taking ever bigger financial risks in the name of drip, but I'm still not seeing the appeal. To help me understand, I'm going to meet the godfather of drip.
What's happening, bro?
My guy. To learn more about the real appeal of drip, I'm hopping in the G-Wagon with Chifa the Cypher, a bespoke London jeweler and the king of drip. Chifa is the self-crowned bust-down king, selling custom jewelry to an impressive client list including sports stars and rappers.
You deliver pieces to a lot of people in the sphere of social influence.
I've done Fabulous, Jadakiss, Georgia Smith, Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua.
Do you think that music plays a big part in terms of fashion and luxury items?
100%. The music is the #1 influence.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, we do know that doctors are successful.
Yeah.
We also know that lawyers
we
are
don't see it.
But we don't see it.
It's success that you can see, and what you can see, you can almost visualize yourself
Exactly.
in.
And you, as a kid, you look at these images and you're like, one day when I get, wait till I get my money, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wait and say, look, if I had money, when I get money, I know exactly. And you pick the guys that you like.
Yeah.
And you say, you know what, I like him.
Yeah.
I like him because I like the way he puts his things together. It's like my dad used to say, first impressions count because you don't always get to speak. That's why a lawyer would wear a suit from Tom Sweeney or get a custom from Oswald Boateng. You can tell by the fabrics on his back that, listen, this guy is serious. It helps in the boardroom to the hood. It does open doors. Let's not act like we don't know. It does.
Do you feel like there's a cultural aspect to it?
Majority of us are not from affluent homes. We grow up having the bare minimum. I grew up in Tottenham, in an estate. We've grown up seeing our parents, our brothers, our mums, our aunties suffer, like work so hard, and still their situation ain't changing.
Yeah.
That's how we grew up, so we want to change it. I don't want to wear high tech or whatnot. No, I want to wear designer clothes because that's what I've never had. And that's just natural, ain't it? Progression to want to grow.
Chifa's jewelry business has been so successful that he is about to open his first store in Mayfair.
I just used to design pieces for myself.
Yeah.
And obviously I didn't have enough money.
Yeah.
So I would literally be going to jewelry shop after jewelry shop just to try and get a bargain. So in doing so, I ended up befriending a lot of the jewelers.
Yeah.
Word got around like, Chief is the guy for jewelry.
Or what would you say to somebody that says that like they're wasting their money on jewelry?
They're not. It depends what type of jewelry you're buying, because if we go into the conversation of watches, there's watches that you buy that appreciate 100% more than a house would. It's about buying the right item. And obviously, yes, buying jewelry when you haven't got a house is stupid. Buying luxury items and you don't have a pot to piss in is stupid, 100%. I agree with that. If you're spending money that you don't have, you're most likely gonna end up in debt. That's a fact. So they might do that and they might learn a lesson from it. So if that's what they want to do and they've got the heart and the balls to do that, then go ahead. We're trying to find ourselves. You have to live.
Chifa has created a business and a life from selling drip, but how easy is it for others to do the same? I've come back to see Drew. He dropped out of uni to start his own streetwear label, currently based out of his parents' living room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this is like your stock?
Yeah, this is all of my stock.
So how's it been going?
Yeah, so the first drop sold out after maybe like 2 days.
That's really
and
good.
then the hoodies went so quickly. These are the cargos that I dropped. Retail for like around £84.99. I opened the website for like a couple days, then the stock is, and then usually after like a week, I'll close the website. I don't really like to do pre-order because I don't like to keep people waiting. I don't make a crazy return on this because like I said, clothing, it's just my creative outlet. Like I'm passionate about it, but I'm more so focused on trying to be a personality, be a personal brand. Like I feel in this day and age, most money to be made is online. Like I've met so many guys that have brands that are like my age and they're making ridiculous amounts of money. After a couple of drops, or after maybe, a drop, I could be making more than those. So it's kind of like, why am I going to study 5 years to kind of do that?
What is it that your parents do?
So my dad is like a pharmacist. He's got his own pharmacy actually.
So that's where the interest in medicine came from?
Yeah. Both my parents are in healthcare. My mom's like a nurse, like a occupational health therapist or something like that. Some people, their passion is to save people, and I respect that so much because medicine is a vocational thing, and I thought that's what I wanted to do until I started doing things that I actually
You said, nah, I want to save myself.
Yeah, literally. So
How did your parents react when they found out you was quitting uni?
my parents still want me to get a degree. I'm not sure if I want to go back. I just have to kind of see how this year goes. They did not grow up with social media, so they don't understand that you can go viral overnight. You could get a 10-second video that gets 10 million views, and that's 10 million views on your site, on your product, and it's really good exposure.
Were you ever worried about quitting uni in order to do this?
If you told me, like, at the start of uni that I was going to drop out, I wouldn't have believed you. If you told me in summer I was going to drop out, I wouldn't have believed you, but it did eventually come to the point I was like, yeah, like, this is not for me sort of thing. I'm going on TikTok every day, I'm seeing junior doctors saying, yeah, you know, we're only getting 28K a year, and I'm thinking, what? That's crazy. Like, I know people that are content creators that are making that same amount from just doing a couple of jobs.
Drew dropped out of uni in his second year, and his gamble seems to be paying off. He's now working with high-profile brands, and his first clothing drop sold out in just 2 days.
Do you think, bearing the social media in mind, the brand deals in mind, being paid to go to events, to wear certain clothes, your own brand, do you think you make more money than your parents? Per year?
I don't want to say. I don't want to say it yet. I don't want to say that quite yet. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
It's arguable though. It's debatable. If you accepted every brand deal that came your way, do you think you'd be making more than them?
Potentially. Yeah, potentially.
So do you think that traditional role of, you know, go to school, go to college, go to uni, buy a house, do you feel like that's over?
No, I wouldn't. Like, that's still what most people do. But obviously, I just don't want to be like most people. So I just want to take risks. You know, I might fail. I might even end up in a worse situation. Like, obviously, there's a lot less stability, but if you don't take risks, then you're not going to get as much reward. I want to make people dress better, and I want to make people smile. I want to make people laugh. You feel me? One thing that a doctor told me on my placement that really hit me is that nobody comes to see a doctor for a good reason.
It's possible to be into drip and be good with money, because I know people who are good at both. People have to be honest. What are you truly earning? And can you really afford the lifestyle that you want? And if you can't afford it today, that's fine. But just cut according to your cloth, and maybe another day, another month, or a couple of months, if you work hard and you make certain plans, you can afford it.
There are levels to what any of us can afford. Samantha spent tens of thousands of pounds on drip, her entire inheritance.
How often, if ever, do you think back to the money and think, I wish I had it, I wish I had it right
Every
now?
single day.
Really? Is it that's like torture? I think, oh man, if I just never. Do you think if you had it now, you would behave much differently?
Honestly, no, and I'm glad that I did what I did, even though that sounds obscene and ridiculous, because I feel like I'm one of those people that I have to make the mistake myself, even though everyone around me can be like, no, like you should, you know, I'll be like, oh, whatever, I'm gonna do it my own way, and I have to mess up to realize.
So what would be your words of advice if you were to speak to the Sam of back in the day?
Have your fun, but like this is your cap. Like you can spend a third, go wild, like buy whatever you want, do whatever you want, but get a job, be in employment, don't be sitting on your butt on the sofa all day, just blowing through cash. And that 2/3 or 3/4 or however much is left, put that with a financial professional person to like look after it and like don't touch it.
There you go. And I think that would be great advice.
Yeah.
I love how the current you though is still giving her a third to go crazy with, like.
Yeah, like I feel like I'd have to, because then I wouldn't be satisfied. So like a little bit.
You're still looking after her. I love that.
Yeah. I'll have this one, please.
It's hard to say whether I feel like drip is worth getting into debt for. I think the clear answer for me is no, but I've learned a lot about how important first impressions have been to people in their careers. getting through the doors that they couldn't get through before when they weren't that drippy. And it even made me think, well, have I been missing a step? I feel like drip can be a flex. I'm not trying to say it should start, but I think we've got to start letting the houses that we buy be a flex. Buying your mama house gotta be a flex before you buy a Rolex, before you buy that jacket, and supporting your family's gotta be a flex. Things should be a flex that don't infringe upon your financial well-being, but things that actually help you to move forward in life.